My name is Mateo, and this is the story of how one night in Ibiza's electric heart set my soul ablaze with a love I never saw coming. It was August 2025, and I was 33, a DJ in Ibiza, where the days shimmer with sun and the nights pulse with possibility. I'd spent years behind the decks, spinning tracks that made thousands dance, but when the lights dimmed, I was alone, my music a shield against the silence in my heart. My beats could ignite a crowd, but they couldn't spark the connection I craved, until that summer, when a stranger's dance changed everything. The club was Pacha, Ibiza's legendary heartbeat, and I was headlining. The dance floor was a sea of bodies, neon lights slicing through the air, the bass vibrating in my bones. I stood at my booth, my hands on the decks, crafting a set that felt alive, urgent. I'd played here countless times, but tonight carried a charge, like the air was holding its breath. I dropped a new track, the rhythm sharp and wild, the crowd erupting in response. Then I saw him. On the dance floor, a man moved like he was painting the music, his body fluid, vibrant, as if my beats were his canvas. He was around 34, with dark hair tied back, a lean frame, and eyes that caught the club's lights like they held their own fire. He wasn't just dancing, he was answering my music, every step syncing with my rhythm, every spin a conversation. Our eyes locked, and for a moment, the club vanished. It was just me, my decks, and him, weaving a story in the neon glow. I pushed the tempo, the beat soaring, and he kept up, his smile bold, daring me to go further. On the dance floor, a man moved like he was painting the music, his body fluid, vibrant, as if my beats were his canvas. He was around 34, with dark hair tied back, a lean frame, and eyes that caught the club's lights like they held their own fire. He wasn't just dancing, he was answering my music, every step syncing with my rhythm, every spin a conversation. Our eyes locked, and for a moment, the club vanished. It was just me, my decks, and him, weaving a story in the neon glow. I pushed the tempo, the beat soaring, and he kept up, his smile bold, daring me to go further. When the set peaked, the crowd roared, but I barely heard them. My eyes were on him, still moving, now closer to the booth, his gaze steady on me. My chest tightened, not from the rush of the set, but from something raw, something new. I didn't know his name, but I knew I had to find him. As I stepped away from the decks, my headphones still warm, I made a choice. Tonight, I wasn't hiding in my music. I was chasing the spark that had just lit up my world. The club was a blur of sweat and strobe lights as I pushed through the crowd, my headphones slung around my neck, my heart racing faster than my set. People shouted my name, praising the night, but I was focused on one person. I found him near the bar, leaning against a pillar, a drink in his hand, his posture relaxed but his eyes alive. Up close he was striking, tall, with a painter's hands, his dark hair loose now, framing a face that held both strength and softness. I took a breath, steadying myself, and walked over. "Hey," I said, my voice rough from the set. "You were dancing out there. You felt my music." He smiled, slow and warm, setting his drink down. "I'm Elias," he said, his voice deep, with a trace of an accent that hinted at years of wandering. "I'm Mateo," I replied, "and I've never seen anyone move like that to my tracks." He tilted his head, studying me. "Your music," he said, "it's like paint on a canvas, bold, alive." I couldn't help but dance. My pulse jumped. Paint on a canvas. I'd felt it too, that connection, but hearing him say it made it real. We started talking, the club's chaos fading around us. Elias was a Sam, a traveler, capturing the world's colors on canvas, from Marrakesh's markets to Kyoto's temples. He'd come to Ibiza for inspiration, drawn to its energy. "Your set," he said, leaning closer, "it was a story. I wanted to be part of it." I swallowed, caught off guard by how his words hit me. I wasn't used to being seen, not like this. "Want to get out of here?" I asked, nodding toward the beach. He nodded, and we left the club, the night air cool against our skin, the waves a soft counterpoint to the bass still echoing in my ears. We walked along Ibiza's shore, the club's pulse a distant hum, the stars bright above the sea. Elias's shoulder brushed mine, and I felt a warmth I hadn't known I was missing. He asked why I DJ'd, what drove me. I told him about coming out at 24, leaving a rigid family, finding my voice in Ibiza's nights. The decks, I said, they're my way of shouting I'm still here. He listened, his eyes locked on mine, and shared his own path, leaving a small town, painting to prove he could, always chasing the next burst of color. You've got a home here, I said, the words slipping out, raw and true. Elias's smile softened, and he took my hand, his touch steady, electric. Maybe I do, he said. The waves crashed, and we stopped, the moonlight catching his eyes. Mateo, he said, I don't know what this is, but it feels like something I've been painting my whole life. My heart pounded, not with doubt but with clarity. This wasn't just a night. This was a beginning. We sat on the sand, the stars blazing, fireflies flickering like tiny lanterns around us. Elias's arm rested against mine, and I felt the weight of years of solitude lift. He talked about his art, canvases filled with cities, skies, moments he'd captured but never kept. I paint to remember, he said, but tonight, with you, I want to stay. I nodded, my walls crumbling. I get that, I said. My music keeps me going, but it's lonely when the crowd's gone. A soft breeze carried the scent of salt, and Elias stood, pulling me up. Dance with me, he said, his voice a mix of challenge and promise. There was no music, just the rhythm of the waves, but we moved together, my hands on his waist, his arms around my neck. The fireflies danced with us, their light weaving through the night. Elias's eyes held mine, and I saw trust, desire, a man ready to leap. Mateo, he whispered, I want this, us. My chest tightened, and I leaned in, our lips meeting in a kiss that burned brighter than the stars. The kiss deepened, slow and sure, the fireflies glowing like they were part of our story. When we pulled back, Elias's smile was brighter than the dawn. We sat again, talking as the night faded, sharing dreams we'd kept hidden. He wanted to paint for galleries but root himself somewhere real. I wanted to spin for crowds but with someone to come home to. What if we build that? I said. You, me, Ibiza. Elias squeezed my hand, nodding. I'm all in. I reached into my bag, pulling out a vinyl of my first track, the one that started my career. This, I said, pressing it into his hand, it's you and me, tonight. He held it, his eyes shining, then kissed me again, soft and tender, sealing our promise. As dawn broke, we walked along the shore, hand in hand, planning a life, his paintings, my music, a home by the sea. My name is Mateo, and this is our story, a gay love story that proves one night can light a lifetime. If this story set your heart racing, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more. Comment below, would you bet on a love sparked in one night? Help us hit 1,000 subscribers. Your support keeps these stories alive. Until next time, find your dance.